I'll let you restart it. So yeah, I'm not going to go through the 13 different provincial platform and all the municipal platform. I just want to show you 3 platforms, which are probably the three biggest markets in Canada: Quebec, Ontario, and British Columbia. But at the end of the day, it's the same idea everywhere. So I'm going to start with this one that we've already seen, but you will see this one. It's pretty interesting. Oh, okay. So yeah, so this one, it's BCB that we've seen already. So it's kind of the same system as Canada Buys. You can make some filter. You can choose your keywords. You can choose your dates. So you have all those criteria of search. Let's see what happens if I do that. So here you have one for park furniture, for example. So I open this one. Oh. This one is closed now. Oh, sorry, I took one that's closed. Sorry. Let's see an open one. They're all closed. Okay, this one is open. I don't think it's relevant in terms of no. So anyway, so that's a BCB platform, okay. But what I want to show you is that once you're on that platform, you can see that the organization issuing can be very different. So it can be a province, it can be a region, it can be a university, it can be just one of the agency, and it can be a city, right? So oh no, it's an array, but oh no, because I'm not at the right slide. I don't know why it keeps keep me in my slide. Okay.
And what I see on this that you want to show us of the BCB is that they have the pre-advertisement, so the pre-announcement. On the Buys Canada, there is nothing, something like pre-announcement of the upcoming bid. On the BCB, that there is.
Yes, so, but on, yeah, I guess on Buys Canada, it's probably through sometimes RFIs that they do that for the bigger one. But yes, you're right. You're right. One of the things with Canada Buys that I have not mentioned, and that's make it very difficult, I find, to browse. So if you go on some other platform, especially, for example, SEAO in Quebec, when you put the word, so like you can do street lighting, for example, okay? And you can choose that it has to use all the words. But on Canada Buys, if you put street lighting, it's going to give you all the tender with the word street is in, where the word light or lighting is in, and it doesn't take into account street lighting or street light. So it's kind of a bit of a pain to browse because you don't have that option just to say it has to have the 2 words, not just one of the word. But Canada Buys just take one of the word, and sometimes it's only take part of the word too. So if you put lighting, sometimes it goes for light, but light in the opposite of heavy. So you can have sometimes just light vehicles, and you're like, oh, makes no sense. But anyway, that's how it's made. So yeah, what I wanted to show you is that when you're on the BC platform, then you have link to that bring you to the city platform. So all the cities also have their own platform. So Burnaby being a city in British Columbia, and they use that platform needs bids and tenders. So that platform too has its different way. But again, you find all the documents here to download if you want to look at that at a specific tender. So typically you will find on the provincial platform, you will find a lot of the advertisement for the municipal tenders, but then you will need to go on the links that bring you to the platform of the city to get all the details. So this one.
And they are free? They are free?
Yeah.
Or you need to register somewhere to get the access, or they're available?
So some of those platforms we require you to create an account.
Okay.
But this account is typically free to create, but they want you to have an account. In some other instances, you have access to the general information, but if you want the document, you have to pay for the document. It's very different from one organization to the next.
If I want to have the information about the bid, I have to pay for it? In some cases?
That's the case in Quebec, for example. Yeah, if you want to download the document with the fine details, you have to. The first level of information is accessible for free.
Okay.
But most of the tenders are actually for free. Like at the federal level, it's free. Typically at the provincial, but Quebec, it's free. Municipal level, you get it for free most of the time. And some require that you create an account because you need to log in, but creating an account is free. But sometimes if you have to do it for 10 different platforms, it's a little bit of work to do that.
Okay.
Okay. So this one we just saw was for a straight light, and there's another one here, still with the city of Burnaby for some furniture. So you always have the ability to ask some question. You register, you download the documents that you can also download in. So in that instance, you'll see that they are what they call plan takers. So for this bid, there is probably before either standing request or something of that type, because you already have a list of the companies that are qualified to answer to that tender. If you're not on that list, you cannot answer to that specific tenders. Okay. So that was for British Columbia, Quebec. So in Quebec, I had an account. So when I was doing those research, they asked me to do an update actually on my account. And there is 3 different type of criteria now that they're asking that they were not asking for before. The first one is environmental. So they ask you a question about, do you have any sustainability plan at your company? Are your product fully recyclable? Are you ISO? I don't remember which ISO it is, but are you ISO that you are showing some sustainable process? So you have all those questions about are you an environmental company and you have certification or criteria? They ask you the same type of question for social. Do you have a plan to have handicapped people working on staff? Do you have a policy of bringing some minority on your payroll, and so on and so on? And economic, that's where they ask you if you want to qualify your company as a minority-owned company or not. But so all those are pretty new question, but it just shows that how much importance they're now putting to all those criteria beyond just the good and the service that you can provide. So this one, I think I want to show it to you because it's so that's the Quebec platform, and so you can have access to the notice in English, but you will see that in the note here, you will see the public agency does not commit to accept any of the tender received. Bid submission must be written in French. Okay, and I went through probably 10, 15 different tenders, and they were all saying the same thing. So I don't know if it's 100%. I can't commit on that, but the vast majority, and with the new rule on the Charte de la langue française, anything that's government owned at the municipal or provincial level in Quebec will probably request to be in French and French only. So this one is for a street, yes, street lighting on Boulevard des Carrés, which is one of the big boulevard in Montreal, which is actually kind of a highway.
And it's like 2 weeks. It stays open 3 weeks. If I'm not wrong. I'm just coming back to the short of timing available. It's just published on 18th and it's closing on 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a pretty big project too. So yeah, to answer that in 1 month, it's clearly a challenge. So what I wanted to show you here is if you want the documents that give more details, you'll see that it's locked.
Yeah.
Okay. So so anyway, I had prepared one, but so you see, for those ones, you need to you need to request the document and you have to pay for it. Okay, so you have the price of the document, the processing fees, the shipping fee. So you can get all the details at specific tender, but to get the specific in Quebec, you need to pay for it. And here they are, like, let's say you don't want that document for some reason. Well, actually, you can change. So Quebec is a bit unique in that sense, that you need to pay to access the tenders. Just another one to show you one that's with furniture. It's cafeteria furniture, but it's another tender. So let's see if this one you have more time, Marta. So this one, you know, it's about the same. You have a bit less than a month again.
No, that's why I was asking if there is some pre-announcement, because maybe you can prepare yourself, or you know that in 2 weeks or in 1 month there will be a tender open. Because if not, you are, you know, you have to monitor them like day by day, and
Well, yes, or you just set up a notice alert that
yeah,
you can get. So here the way it's done here, you have per category. So yeah, then you can choose your category, but you have always the table. You have of the day, number totals, so those that are outside Quebec, and those that are by the Crown Corporation. So from the Federal Crown Corporation. So you know that's how I did. So let's see. I'm just checking if there is something with the status of pre-published, but I haven't seen any. I will double check, Martha, on the pre-publication because I haven't seen any, so it didn't go through my mind. But and I
and for
again,
example,
like when I was presenting what we did with the ministry, we did get the information like unofficially through a fun discussion, but I don't recall getting an actual notification saying that there was a pre-tender.
okay.
But I'm going to check if there is pre-application. I'm not sure.
Because the alerts you can set when when the tender is already out, right? So the tender is published and you receive the alert that the tender has been published.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. I understand. But I don't recall having seen any, so that's
yeah.
So the third platform is Ontario. So they use a platform named Jagger One. So this one you can access. You can log in, but you're able to access it without the login. And it's always pretty much the same presentation, right? So you have the different. So what I want to show you here is that for the Ontario platform, you will see that there is Bayer, the government of Ontario, which come at no surprise, but you also have 3 organizations that come back all the time: HMMS, OECM, and Plexus. Okay. So those 3 organizations, I've put the link here, but basically OECM, it's the Ontario Education Sector platform. So they are like a buying group, and they buy for all the schools in Ontario. So it goes from equipment to furniture to services, whatever is in the education sector is potentially coming under that platform. For the healthcare, there is those 2 platforms that are, one is 23 hospitals, the other one is 22. So they kind of compete with each other, but they do the same thing. It's 2 platforms that are a buying group for every need in the hospital that they cover. So again, they don't cover the same hospital. So if you want to sell some product or service to an hospital, you have to go through one of those 2 platforms. So through a bid or direct to them.
So the HMMS, for example, is the contracting authority that is contracting the service on behalf of, I don't know, 5 hospitals.
Correct.
Okay. So you are signing the agreement if you are lucky and you win the tender with the HMMS and not with the hospital. Okay.
Yeah. So So
And the same
basically,
for
they
the education sector and that's all, and
Yeah.
others. Okay.
So basically what they will do is they're going to negotiate with you, and then they're going to give the hospital the ability to buy what they need through them. So they will give the final word to the hospital in terms of what equipment they need, but they will buy it through HMMS or through Plexus.
Okay, and they also have to respect all the thresholds and typology of procurement as the
Yes.
public, or it's something that they define by themselves?
No, they have to respect the public threshold.
Okay. Okay.
So I got in that situation not long ago, and for some medical device, and I talked to a head nurse. The guy was in charge of buying all the equipment for operating room, and he told me, well, I think the equipment is interesting, but there is two things you have to do first. Number one is to get your certification with Health Canada. And number two is to talk to, and I think he was with HMS, his hospital, talk to MHMS, get the buying process in place. And once that's in place, I'll be able to order through them whatever I need. So yeah, so that's how it works.
Okay. No, for example, this about the healthcare and education sectors are very interesting for us because we have several companies from our cluster that are producing or providing specific lighting for the healthcare sector.
Okay.
So it can be also an interesting place because, and in any case, I can also find this on Canada Buys or only on Ontario Jagger.
I did not find any tender from HMS and Plexus on Canada Buy. So
okay.
I'm not saying they don't have any ever, but as much as on Ontario Jagger, like every time I look, there is a new one from those three organizations. Sometimes the three of them, but they are always right there. Like they're one of the, after Government of Ontario, there's a three institution that every time you load a new page, you're going to find the three of them. I've never seen them on Canada Buys, never.
Okay. Okay, no, this is extremely important to have this overview of this platform because if not, we stick to Canada Buys and we can lose a lot of opportunities.
Oh yeah, and that's why I wanted to take the time to show you. So I was not going to go through the 10 different provincial and platforms and the territories. Typically, they are managed by Canada Buys. They typically don't have their own platform, but the 10 provinces, they all have their own platform. But yes, indeed, it is important, especially I think in your sector where when we talk about municipal product, street light or so on, and as you mentioned, hospital lighting and stuff like that. Yes, you need to be aware of what's happening at the provincial/municipal level. That's
exactly.
So I just pulled this one out because it was educational furniture. So just to show you how what a project, a tender look like under Jagger. But again, it's always kind of the same information. It's just presented a little bit differently, but it's always the same thing. Here, okay, so yes, I was planning to spend a bit of time on SAP, but again, we'll do it next time. There's no point getting too frustrated today. So yeah, do you have any question, anything else you'd like maybe to go back and to look into some more details?
No, I think that we will wait for the 1st of December because we really wanted to go through Ariba because I was trying to make a trial, let's say to make the profile to account as a company, and I was also stopped in the middle. I don't know because the platform doesn't work or because there was some issues that I didn't fill in. So it would be nice to try to register the company, maybe go through some steps if it's possible to see what kind of data is needed for the CIP Ariba registration. And
Yeah.
then also to see how the tender's documentation looks like of it, and maybe to have the open tender and to see how to fill it in.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
just to have one example of the process. So if I'm the foreign company, I want to register what they're asking for, and if I don't have account already on the Ariba, some of the companies already have because they use also Europe, and then to go.
Yeah. And
Please,
sorry,
please.
I had planned to show that to you today, and I had a link to the Excel document I was referring to, where you have to put all your answer in the document. So yeah, we'll take a few minutes next week after
Yeah, it's
your
not your fault, because we were trying with Alberto also on different browsers to check if the links works, but and then I got some notifications from some website checkers, and they're saying that Ariba is really facing issues. So no worry about it. I think that it will be important next time to go.
So I'm happy it's not the snow.
No. I don't think it's snow, because here we don't have snow, and I also couldn't access it. So I think it's fine. I don't know if others. I will just check fast with Antonella, because I know that she is there. And
yeah, I noticed in the chat she had sent something. She had to step away, so she stepped away about a few minutes ago. And
yeah, I will just call her, see if she's available.
so Isabella, Mary, Marisol, Alberto, do you have any comments, questions?
Not from my side. I would like also to thank you for the training. It